Hello, I am JonoJ927 and welcome to this two-part video of my thoughts on the Men of War Assault Squad 2 beta. Second part will be my channel update. I'll provide an annotation on the screen to go straight to it if you're interested in that. I'd just like to mention the shadows are turned off in this game because there's heavy stuttering going on with the shadows when you pan the camera. So hopefully they'll get that fixed when it comes to release time or during the beta. Although the performance is a bit awkward at the moment in places such as the multiplayer, which people are saying it's really bad, but as I don't play multiplayer and I haven't tried the co-op yet, I don't exactly know, but as far as I know, they are currently implementing the multi-core support in the multiplayer itself. With the performance in single player, it's really great for me. These shadows turned off, I get about 30 to 60 FPS in this game, but in AS1 I got about 25 to 36 FPS. But with shadows turned on, it's worse in AS2 because I get about 11 to 20 FPS in this game, whereas in AS1 I get about 18 to 30 FPS. But overall it's still great and I'm rather enjoying it, even with the shadows turned off, so it's not quite bothering me. But I'm pretty sure if they don't sort out the performance problems during this beta, I pretty much can guess that Instinct will delay the game again for another month until it's in a better state and where he believes it will be releasable and won't actually be as problematic as it is right now for quite a few people. So we'll see how that goes, and it can affect call to arms if there's still problems for many more months, so it's a really key thing to fix right now. Having a look at the in-game features, there actually are some really good nice ones, such as the bump mapping for ground textures. I find this really nice because as a level designer I really like it and it brings more life to the maps themselves, and I'll enjoy more of making my maps really nice and showing them off. And in AS1 they looked flat and it didn't really look nice when making the maps, and so it's a really nice addition. There's also interface changes with the UI and it looks really nice for me. Although with the little icon square things at the bottom, it just looks a bit strange with the metal type effect. But maybe I'll mod the different design in there when the game is released. There's also new icons which shows a lot of information. It's in the bottom left. These show up for squads of infantry or single men and tanks, and it shows what weapons they are holding. It shows the medic icons if there's a medic in the squad. If it has an orange bar above the icon, it shows they have a rocket launcher, and if it has a yellow bar, it shows they have an AT rifle. When they engage in combat, there's a flashing dot when they're in combat, which is quite helpful when you want to see what they're currently attacking or what's attacking them in combat. Also on the vehicle icons there's a damaged icon, which is really handy, because in AS1 you had to look around and see the damage on the vehicles and then repair, and when you're repairing it actually shows a repairing icon, and when that disappears it will show that it's repaired, so it's really handy. Although I do forget about the repairing icon if I'm repairing a hull of a tank, which takes about 5 minutes. And also there's also a free movement icon, so if you have the vehicle on free movement then staying static, you'll see a free movement icon. So if you've just captured an enemy tank, it's quite handy in knowing that that tank is going to move, so you'll be able to turn it off before your tank starts rolling down the street and ends up getting blown up, and it's a nice tank to have. Also for the infantry and vehicles, when you click on them, there's also now a new soldier and tank kill count, which shows you how well the unit is doing, and it's quite nice seeing that a tank has killed 50 infantry and blown up 20 tanks. It goes to show that it is a viable unit when you've just completed a map or in a long fight that takes ages. And with the artillery, it kind of helps in showing how much infantry you've just killed. It's quite satisfying knowing that information. There's also new voice acting for the Americans and British. This is really nice and really changes the British, which was really needed. So that is a really nice addition. So kudos for Instinct on doing that. The other nations are quite fine, so I'm pretty fine with the current ones and these new additions. Pretty great. The other features for this game are such as the Steam integration, which is more along. In AS1 there was achievements, but there wasn't really much integration there. In this one you get a workshop, which is really nice for modders and map makers, but apparently you only get 100 megabytes of cloud space. This can be problematic with bigger mods that are about 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte in size. These are the really long worked into stuff, so probably if Instinct can increase the size of the cloud space, if he can for that, that'll be really helpful. About 1 gig will do fine. Or even if it's restricted to those that really need it, you can ask him and he'll increase it. It's quite needed, but right now not many people are going to have big mods, but for those with many maps it can just get bigger and bigger, and you'll have to stick with ModDB currently for now, or any other file sharing site. There's also file servers for multiplayer and co-op, which is a really nice addition. In AS1 and in previous Mo games there was GameSpy multiplayer. This service has been going downhill lately, and it's been quite annoying when using it, and for many people the key's already been taken on account. So that is a really nice addition there, and it really eases people getting into the multiplayer with their Steam accounts. I've only had a few problems with the game so far, but I'm only going to list a few because the other ones are minor and going to be fixed. But this one is annoying. If a leader dies, I believe it's if a leader dies, the icon which is in the lower left disappears and you lose track of what troops you've got, and only when a leader is reassigned the original leader, well, I assume it's the leader, the icon comes back. But I've played a map on Silo Heights and a lot of my troops were getting absolutely killed, and I found that there was blue dots on the map, and when I go there, there was my troops there in between the tanks. So maybe they should fix this if they can manage to find out what's causing it, as I lose a track of so many troops in that mission. It was just a horrible feeling when I find out I had all these troops just hiding there that I could have been using. Another thing is they really need to add tank crew. Tank crew are really necessary. When I am fighting and there's enemy tanks on the battlefield that I am repairing and want a crew, currently I have to bring in infantry, which are a waste of money and could be used in more fighting. So maybe if Instinct adds a tank crew for a very cheap price, but not so cheap, for say 25 points or 30 points, so then you can call them in without having to replace with infantry for tank crew. So hopefully he will come around and add tank crew to the missions. Another thing is the difficulty in missions. It seems like there's a heavy-handed approach in that it ramps up so fast. I played Silo Heights, and many of the vehicles, such as the 50mm ones, are absolutely useless most of the time unless the vehicle is actually right on top of you. Once the T-34s come, they are useless beyond complete unless you hit the tank from the side. And with the KV-1s, they are more useless. The only useful ones in that is the 75mm and the 80mm, and you can use the whirlwind against infantry, which is really good. And in the current second US mission, there's one where if you kill all the snipers, there's a convoy of tanks that come, and also there's 2 AA guns on that map, which just absolutely shred my infantry if they go anywhere close. And if you use any of the light vehicles, they get shredded as well, so maybe they could tone it down a little bit, make it easier, unless you go on harder, because on normal it can be quite awkward when you suddenly get a surprise when a tank just rolls up or a AA gun just shoots down all your men and kills them all. So maybe DMS can look into that. There's a few things I can suggest to improve. With the ground textures, like mixed texture quality, like with the road, it's alright, and with the actual ground textures themselves, they're quite high quality. But some things are very low res, and with the bump mapping that's added, it makes it look really ugly on most of the stuff. So maybe at some point, once the development is done, they can go back and up-res the textures that are a problem. Also, with the infantry textures, as they're updating the vehicles now, and they're going to be probably doing them all, and they've upgraded all the weapons so far, I believe, and they've done helmets, the soldiers are going to end up looking awkward being in these vehicles and being with all this high quality stuff. So maybe at some point as well they can go through and update the infantry textures themselves to make them really high quality. Even making them more high quality, it'll make them more like they've got more polys on them. I've seen some modders who have done 2K textures and it looks really nice on the current models. The models are not too bad, but I don't think you really need to update them, as it'll take a really long time to actually remodel every single soldier, UV map them, and then texture them. Even then, if modders actually making new infantry textures, they could probably give them to Instinct and he can add them if he so chooses, but it's really up to him of what he does. Also, there's been an improvement on the single player missions. There's new ones added, such as stealth and the defensive maps from the DLC packs. As a single player guy myself, it's more of an improvement away from the original skirmish missions where you have to go to each flag and then the next flag until you actually complete the mission, and it gets pretty much harder as you go along. I could probably suggest that Instinct probably adds official single player content added by modders. You could probably get modders to make true single player missions, the proper ones, and then add them as official content when at some point. It will really expand the game in the single player scene and will make more people interested. Right now it's up to the modders to make them, and there's actually quite a lot of people who really like single player missions from now and then, so maybe he can think of that at some point, but it's really up to Instinct at the moment. I'm really happy with this game so far. Time will tell how this will go. Gladly supporting DMS at the moment, as their post-release support for the last Assault Squad lasted for a few years and it was really good, and it's very rare for many developers to do that, so that was really good. So I hope Instinct will support AS2 for some time, or more than what he did for AS1. And once the new plugins for 3ds Max come out, I will be modding the game a lot more, and I'll get the 3ds Max tutorials done while also making new 3D models, so overall I'm really happy with the game. Onto the quick channel update. I know I haven't posted a video for nearly a year, but I've been quite busy with stuff in life, and I did reply to those that did comment on my channel videos. I'm going to be getting a new PC soon, and this is for work, this game, other games and stuff I'll be doing for YouTube. I'll be making map and mission making tutorials, and if the plugins get updated I'll be doing the 3ds Max tutorials for definite. This will be the tank tutorials, the human tutorials, the building tutorials, the plane tutorials, and any other tutorials which are needed until there's a huge modding resource. They're available for those who are really interested in this amazing game and the engine, which is the best I've seen. I'm also going to be trying out Let's Plays for this channel, of this game and other games, so I'll be becoming more active over the next few months unless something happens. Stay tuned for more content coming soon. This is the end of the video and I'll see you for my next video.
Excellent job at taking their tank out. The battalion granted you additional resources.